A lot can change in a few months. But back when the current, and final, season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was being filmed, he was in a very different position. At that point in his life, Scott still had Kourtney Kardashian at the forefront of his mind. And he wasn't shy about letting his ex know how much she meant to him. Scott and Kourtney have 3 children together, and they've managed to keep their relationship cordial and respectful even after they broke up. This revelation led to some difficult and long overdue conversations about Scott and Kourtney's platonic co-parenting partnership. "It's like, I have different expectations for our life, the way we treat each other," Disick confessed to Kim and Khloe. "But it's kind of, like, one-sided," he continued. "I play the role of a husband. I treat her like she talks to me like I'm her husband. Ellipsis. It sucks sometimes." Clearly, Scott was doing some serious unburdening there, and the situation later became even more uncomfortable. "In a perfect world, Kourtney and I just end up being together and raising our family, but as you know, complications happen," he said. "Can we just have a Kourtney and Scott wedding?" Kris Jenner suggested, making the whole situation even more awkward for Kourtney. "Well, I love you and I'm ready to marry you right here, right now." "Kourtney knows that we'll eventually get married and live a good life," Scott chimed in. It was at this point that Kourtney felt the need to remind Scott that the two of them had broken up for good reason. She encouraged him to work on himself, which led Disick to ask, "What else do I have to do? I'd love to know what I can do." Not surprisingly, in her confessional segment, Kourtney confessed that all this talk made her feel uneasy. "I'm usually more prepared to talk to the family and so I don't even know how to react," she said. "Scott and I have had these talks before, so I just think him and I have our own private understanding of what would even need to happen for that to even be a consideration, and I just don't think it's really fair to talk about it in front of the whole family as if it's everyone's business." While she acknowledged that the whole family wants them back together, Kourtney also confessed that thinking about a reconciliation with Scott gives her anxiety. "He's handsome, he's smart, he's funny. He's the dad of my kids. Ellipsis. We have good energy, now," she added. As the tension built, Scott finally confronted the issue head-on. "If you can just make the final decision that you and I are never going to try to be a family again, then I can move on and I could deal with you being with other people," and "I don't want to give you an ultimatum and I don't want to push you. I don't want to make you anxious, but you don't say no, and you leave this door open, so I have expectations in my mind, and they don't seem to ever get met. I don't want to have to live in limbo for the rest of my life with you." I know that this isn't what Scott wants to hear and I do appreciate his vulnerability and really putting himself out there, but he always kind of tries to put a lot of pressure on me, and I just don't really think that's fair, Kourtney later confessed. "I just want a little bit more at the end of the night," Scott told her, and indeed, it seemed that he was laying on the pressure quite a bit. "After we take care of our children, to go to sleep in 2 different rooms 2 feet apart, seems stupid to me if 2 people could work things out. It seems like we do everything else together, but the intimacy part that we leave for other people," and then those other people are just jealous of our relationship. And they feel like the only thing they have is the intimacy part, not the friendship and everything else and sharing children in life. I love you, so it's difficult. I feel like for so many years and so long I always thought that we would end up together," Scott admitted. "And now it's getting to a point where I'm not really sure if that's ever gonna happen again. I guess you just have different things then that you want to do with your life. You don't have to make your mind, just wait a couple more years," he concluded. "I'll get back to you," Kourtney said in an attempt to laugh off his advances. So a reconciliation with Scott seems more unlikely than ever, but it also seems like the subject will never be very far from Disick's mind.